occasion. Munster's rugby existence seems to have squeezed into Thomond Park tonight for the defence of an astonishing European record. Ferocious physicality and cool tactical kicking mixed with plenty of smart thinking. It's an amazing night. I will not be surprised if it's anything but that. It's that sort of atmosphere we've got here.
Well, Munster protecting that 26-match winning run here in Limerick. Though I love Paul O'Connell's description of this place as just an oil lump of concrete. Munster have kept the team that started against Bourgois. Marcus Horan is the loose head and John Hayes bolsters the tight head side. Frankie Sheehan is feeling the hot breath of fit again Jerry Flannery. The second row is fully powered with that formidable duo of O'Callaghan and O'Connell, the Lions locks in 2005. Alan Quinlan may be badly missed in the back row. Mick O'Driscoll fills the void. David Wallace is at 7 and Dennis Leamy, stronger now after a stomach bug, is the number 8. At half-back, two promising young chaps who are really working hard at developing an understanding. Rugby's Siamese twins, Stringer and O'Gara. In midfield, the South African rock injured Trevor Halstead is out. Declan Kidney has gone for pace in Lefemi Maffei and Barry Murphy. Around them, the vast experience of 32-year-old John Kelly and the Ireland A international Ian Dowling. The fullback is the brick wall Bok, Sean Payne. Well, the atmosphere here really is at absolute boiling point. And Leicester have included 4 men from this side of the Irish Sea in their starting lineup and 5 in the 22. It should be Leicester Irish in the Premiership these days, not London Irish, perhaps. Well, let's take a look at the Leicester lineup. For the front row can be destructive, with the Italian Martin Castro Giovanni and the 39 times capped England international Julian White, the props, joined by current England hooker George Shooter. The locks are Irish international Leo Cullen and the England international Lewis Deacon is his partner. In the back row, it's Shane Jennings, who has just signed a 3-year deal with Leinster. Lewis Moody is kamikaze with class, and at number 8, well, it's the former England captain Martin Corrie. Well, the half-backs are Harry Ellis, currently buzzing, and Ian Humphreys, the 24-year-old younger brother of Ireland's 72 times capped David. In the midfield, all black Darrell Gibson failed a fitness test. Ollie Smith comes in, and the England under-21 international Dan Hipkiss completes the combination. The back three is South Sea smash in Samoan Alessana Tuolangi, a bowl of cornflakes under 18 stone, and Fijian Sero Rambini is another hematoma specialist. The fullback Jordan Murphy is canny, crafty, and he is quick. Well, will Leicester do what nobody has done before in Europe, win at Thomond Park? Pat Howard won at this ground with the Wallabies 11 years ago. Can the Tigers replicate their coach's achievement, or will the Tigers feel the kidney punch like so many before?
Martin Corrie leads his team out now, and they will have been here in the fields of Athenry, rocking around this ground. Will it inspire them, or will it intimidate them as it did Sale and Gloucester before? That answer may decide whether Leicester can do it.
Well, that's one of the great things about Thomond Park. The opposition always get a strong reception because there is true respect, and they will certainly respect Leicester, twice winners of the Heineken Cup. And what a night for them and for Corrie. These two sides, of course, of history. They met in the Heineken Cup final at the Millennium Stadium in 2002. Well, on the replacements bench, Jerry Flannery had gained time against Bourgois after reconstructive shoulder surgery. Anthony Foley, also back after injury, had a run too. And Leicester have a bench that includes World Cup winner Ben Kay and former Munster player, scrum half Frank Murphy. Well, I have to say, I would rather meet a hungry bear in the woods than a focused Munster pack. But then Tigers can be ferocious animals too. It should be a gripping face-off between two of Europe's true tyros, Stuart.
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because in the Pool 1 ground one game. Leicester's forwards really gave Munster terrible problems. They demolished them at line-up, and the Tigers have picked a scrummage to really take it to Paul O'Connell and co. They weren't that confident against Bourgoin. Leicester are going to attack Munster, or what all this province regards as a strength of power.
Well, I don't know about you, Stuart, but my stomach is absolutely churning just through the sheer intensity of this occasion tonight.
This is the great moment of Heineken Cup. Great spiritual home of Irish rugby. Munster have driven this competition in so many ways, and against them Leicester, twice champions themselves, back to back. That's what Munster want to do this year, but if Leicester win today, they send Munster on the road. So much at stake, so much pride, and the last 80 minutes before redevelopment here, Munster would give anything to finish tonight unbeaten. Whoa.
6 Heineken Cup finals between them, and there is Joël Joos, the man who failed to spot the famous hand back in that 2002 final. This is not a night for soft lads, and there aren't any amongst the 44 who could potentially be involved tonight. And Ronan O'Gara will begin things for Munster, who play with a pretty strong breeze on their backs in this first half. And it's Corey immediately at the action. A good drive. Tackle from Mick O'Driscoll in for the suspended Alan Quinlan, out for 6 weeks. And that's Harry Ellis. Gets it to Ian Humphreys. Oh, it's a break already by Hipkiss, and Hipkiss has great pace. He's outstripped Sean Payne. Ian Darling has had to come across to help out his fullback. That was scintillating and scything. My goodness, what a beginning by the Tigers. Well, the collective noun for Tigers is ambush, and Munster were almost ambushed immediately.
Counter-attack, really impressed with Humphreys there. Lots of composure, didn't kick, and Hipkiss' explosive pace sensationally round Sean Payne there. But I think what shocked Munster was they were thinking Leicester would just want to clear their grounds early on, but that's a statement from the Tigers early.
Well, I know that Ian Humphreys has been talking to Big Brother David quite a lot this week about this match. It's pretty top secret what those conversations were about, but I'm sure the advice was top class. O'Gara gets the ball to Sean Payne. Rambini catches it. Good tackle. Stringer goes in. That's Frankie Sheehan. Irish international. 13 Munster men in Ireland's squad for the Six Nations, and already looking for width. There wasn't a great pass, and the knock forward by Murphy, so the advantage to the Tigers. In goes Tuolangi, and Rambini is there, the two wingers. Numbers on the blind side. It's Lewis Deacon. He sets the ball well for Harry Ellis. Tuolangi on the charge. Good start, great start indeed by Leicester here. Really have played well in this opening 2 minutes. They're in charge at the moment. That's Jordan Murphy, beautiful flick, typical. And now Moody, cover comes across from Mick O'Driscoll. The ball in touch, but Leicester, Stuart, playing with great intent.
From the first 30 seconds, O'Gara's hunting down the inexperienced Humphreys. O'Connell is the gap, and just see how they find the gap. For there, you can see it. Big break, big hole here. Hipkiss is through. O'Connell's the man. It's not the back row, and that's the hole. Such a confident start from the Tigers there.
Frankie Sheehan, and the whistle has gone. No. Penalty to Leicester. It's against Mick O'Driscoll. Against number 6 right. Another Munster man in the Irish squad. Usually plays in the second row, but due to injuries to O'Sullivan and Quinlan's suspension, he has to play in the back row, and a chance for Humphreys to open the scoring here. Ian Humphreys, who has 4 points in the Heineken Cup, and that's only 449 behind his brother.
Well, it's central to the game now, isn't it, this kick, really? If Humphreys keeps his cool and his composure, then Leicester have every chance. If the fly half goes the way we saw Ludovic Mercier go in that miracle match for Gloucester, if we saw him as Hodgson went, then there's no chance. But look at that difference in experience.
Humphreys, unlike his brother, he's left-footed, but that was accurate. Good start. That'll build his confidence. He passed a fitness test this morning on a hamstring strain, did Ian Humphreys, the 24-year-old who's just signed a new 2-year deal. He's against the top point scorer in Heineken Cup history. There's a contrast.
Nobody doubts Humphreys' talent, but the temperament, well, we didn't know about that, but after 5 minutes, it's very promising from a Leicester perspective.
Leo Cullum's had a super season for Leicester, has captained them on several occasions. Although Eddie O'Sullivan hasn't put him in the Irish squad. It's good protection for Ellis.
Poor kick from Harry Ellis. Destination wasn't the touchline, it was down the throat of Ian Dowling. Let Seru Rambini chase him down. Slice kick.
Harry Ellis played in that 2002 final as a replacement. Frankie Sheehan.
This is critical as well, isn't it? I know Munster got away with the win at Welford Road, but Leicester nicked 5 of their lineouts. Munster only nicked 1 back. O'Connell was central that day, but surely Munster's lineout will have to be better at home. Sheehan will be a pressure point.
It's not going to be easy in this strong wind, but Leicester will certainly compete in this area. Up goes O'Driscoll, that didn't quite work. O'Callaghan almost got his hands on the ball, and it's flat to O'Gara, and it's Sean Payne who comes into the line hard and fast. Good line from the Natal man, Paul O'Connell.
I think there's a Munster man now.
Stringer. And O'Gara gets the ball to midfield again. It's a rather loose pass.
Munster will just want to get their hands on the ball and build a little bit, get the big man Connell going, just get themselves into this game.
Well, that's twice they've used Paul O'Connell as the pile driver through midfield. They've given the ball away. The referee just speaking to Julian White here and David Wallace.
Not to run no more. No. Focus on the ball. Take your match.
It's an evening for understated refereeing. If you react to every flashpoint, we're going to have a very long night. Here's Paul O'Connell. He will batter all day. He's going to give a target for his team, especially with no Trevor Halstead. Someone's got to get over that gain line, and they will use O'Connell, they will use Leamy, they will use Wallace. Expect the big men to do a lot of carrying in field.
Well, Julian White brought in a tight head to do a job. Castro Giovanni normally plays number 3, but he's pretty adept on the loose head side as well. Well, that's good defence on the fringes there by Munster. But again, it's Leicester in possession. A little switch in midfield that Ian Humphreys enjoys employing. In the out half, just inside his 22, and he's got a strong left foot, very much in the style of Dennis Hickey.
Hickey would be delighted with that. I must say, a magnificent start for young Ian Humphreys. You know, O'Gara, the most experienced fly half in the Heineken, but Humphreys looks like he was born to this sort of atmosphere. He played absolutely beautifully for Leicester in a Premiership game against Wasp. Looked a player of the highest class, and he has started here as if he's thriving on the atmosphere. It's not intimidating him, it's inspiring him.
Well, Andy Good is injured, but Pat Howard said to us in the hotel last night that he might have picked Humphreys anyway, even if Good had been fit. Now Maffey, he's quick, and that's a good tackle by Hipkiss. He's made a break and a crash tackle too. Here's O'Driscoll on the ball. Leicester hugely up for this game here at Thomond Park. Munster struggling to find a rhythm, but that's hands on the floor by Leicester that time. The penalty going to Munster, who are desperately trying to settle things down here and get themselves into this match.
Very interesting as well, isn't it? On Munster line out, Humphreys was on the right wing, on the open side wing. Now Leicester are probably saying difficult conditions, Munster. You think he's a defensive weakness, okay, but you play all the way one side of the park to the other and get to him, because I think Leicester will think that they can take them in that midfield area. So Pat Howard trying to hide his man, and he's also saying to Munster, do you have the nerve to go there?
Well, now we hear the Tolman roar, and it's O'Callaghan who flicks the ball to Peter Stringer. That's good defence by Castro Giovanni. Well, Howard reckons he's the second best tight head in the world behind Carl Heyman. A good loose head too. Now Munster at last trying to build a few phases, but Leicester defending there is ferocious under 22. Now they're getting a penalty, not releasing. They really are putting Munster under all sorts of pressure here.
Huge physicality in this Tigers team. They picked this team specifically to put Munster under physical pressure, to win the gain line battle again at Welford Road. Whilst Leicester dominated lines and scrums, in the turnover with Quinlan heavily involved, Munster won that battle. At the moment, Leicester with numbers hitting the breakdown are slowing Munster down or turning the ball over. So tactically, it's been a very good start for Leicester. They'll be very pleased with this first 10 minutes.
That was Jordan Murphy with the kick, Irish international, who's played at Tolman Park for Ireland against Italy. George Shooter.
As I say, a lot of defensive work expected for Jordan Murphy again tonight. A great attacking player, but you expect O'Gara to test him in the air.
Leo Cullen, that's great ball by the number 4. And again, it's Humphreys in midfield, and Rambini coming charging in, using his weight and bulk. And now Martin Corrie, tackled by Ronan O'Gara.
They're just persistently bringing balls back at 10 and 12, aren't they? That's a third scissors from Humphreys as we see a skirmish there. It wouldn't have been 5:35 Munster Leicester if you didn't get a little bit of this, would it?
Against Prop Green. Prop. Time off. Number 1. Call number 1.
Well, number 1 is Castro Giovanni. There he is, the Italian international.
Dive with shoulders. Okay. I don't want to see that. Okay. Not with your shoulders, okay? No. Okay. 10 meters. Okay, he knows.
Castro, he looks like a Cuban dissident, doesn't he? With that long hair and rough beard. Ronan O'Gara is the player down injured.
But here again, Corrie makes the dive into O'Gara, and then you see the scissors afterward. Everything Leicester are doing at the moment is just piling at the 10-12 channel. And here you can see O'Gara and Humphreys going down.
Well, O'Gara taking an elbow to the chin there from Martin Corrie, but he seems to be okay. He's a pretty rugged individual, is the Irish out half.
Yeah,
when he got that was Deacon coming in as well with the boot.
Yeah, and it was Castro Giovanni with the late shoulder that led to this penalty, and now O'Gara would love to punish the Tigers. Of course, he did this in round 1 to dramatic effect at the end of the game to win it.
Has he got the distance? Well, even with the wind behind him, he didn't quite have it. 22. Neither did he have the direction. 830 points in the Heineken Cup, and that's how it remains. And Leicester lead by 3 points to 0. That penalty from Ian Humphreys.
Ronan O'Gara has probably won his battle overall with David Humphreys over the years. That tremendous rivalry for the Irish number 10 shirt, but after 12 minutes, it's revenge for young Humphreys, who started by far the better.
Taken by Payne. Jordan Murphy, hugely experienced Irish international, but caught by Marcus Horan. Good tackle by the loose head, who scored a try, standing on the wing against Bourgoin last week. Pacey player is Horan now. Ellis waits. And that's Rambini. Oh, and just charged down the Humphreys kick. And chasing is Dowling, but it's running dead. And the first little chink from the young 10.
Yeah, just a reminder, it's not going to be plain sailing He's not that slow actually, but Dowling does brilliantly. The left wing uses his extra pace to a forward to get there quickly when the break goes his way. Super pressure there, Paul O'Connell involved as well, but the ball was always winning that race.
And again, Dowling, as he has done all season, doing some tremendous work. He does charge, and that was Humphreys knocking it long again. And here's Jordan Murphy. Oh, good step, getting outside O'Gara and then using the support, which is Ian Humphreys.
And that's the magic of Murphy there. Second high ball, he just left O'Gara for dead. And again, Mark, the confidence of Leicester to counter.
I like that inside ball, don't they? Ian Humphreys does. Lewis Deacon. O'Callaghan brings him to the floor. Cullen goes in, try and clear the ball out. There's Tuolangi. A pound under 18 stone. A very difficult man to stop. Well, Leo Cullen is the player who's penalised there. Another man who played for Ireland at Thomond Park against Italy, but not for Leinster, because Munster didn't like to play Leinster here. They didn't want to lose their record at Thomond Park. They took them to Musgrave.
The gate.
It was said that Murphy would take high balls, steps him on the right and then goes. A fair dues to O'Gara. He's got his right foot out, but he pulls it back. And then Humphreys just moving smoothly onto the counter there. Superb first 15 for Leicester. I've seen so many teams here beaten after a quarter of an hour, 12-14 down with a crowd on their backs. Leicester certainly haven't silenced them, but they have had Munster thinking we're in a fight here.
Well, Sheehan's got to start hitting his man, and this time he does. That's a good take. It's good ball now for Munster. It's Sean Payne on the line. Had to take the ball just slightly behind himself. Lost an ounce of momentum. Stringer looks both sides. Munster attempting to build some sort of solid platform here. O'Driscoll picks it up. The Irish international, John Hayes, goes in. 19 stone of tight head, and out it goes to Dennis Leamy, and that was O'Gara with the ball. And now Marcus Horan. And Marcus Horan chips through beautifully and chases. It's Harry Ellis who goes down on the ball. Horan's a pretty skillful footballer for a prop forward. But Leicester get the put in to the scrummage at the end of it all.
Leicester did very well there, Ellis, because Horan got a little bit lucky there. He went for the chip and there was a deflection, and Ellis, though, was in control. Harry Ellis and Peter Stringer also absolutely vital contrast and battle between those two. Ellis covering very well there. You see the little pinball ricochet, but Ellis is quick and he's on his feet. Good discipline. Leicester get the scrum. Do all sorts of things, Horan. Nutmegging Ollie Smith's not normally one, but isn't Ellis quick to get on his feet? And doesn't Shane Jennings do well there too?
That's John Kelly. Suffered a rib injury of some description there. The 17 times capped Irish international, who can play in the centre, of course. He played there in the semi-final and the final of the Heineken Cup last year. And John Hayes, the second most capped Heineken Cup player of all time, behind Anthony Foley, who's on the bench tonight.
And I must say, even after 17 minutes, you feel if Munster are going to protect their amazing unbeaten record here at Thomond Park, O'Gara is going to be central, because it doesn't look like Munster can outflank Leicester or go through the middle, and Leicester are defending physically and aggressively at the fringes. The boot of O'Gara must play a major role in putting his team in the right positions tonight, because Leicester look to be very strong on the game line.
And they're also clearly massively up for this game, the Tigers.
Touch and go. Engage. Okay.
Good squeeze coming on from the Munster scrummage there. Leicester just slightly on the back foot. There's that ball out, and Julian White comes in. And that's Harry Ellis's ball.
Solid clearance from Ellis. As it stands there, you can see neck and neck. Munster still top because they got 2 tries to 1 at Welford Road, and also as it stands, the Ospreys are out, so there'll be a lot of people in West Wales watching this one just as nervously as those in the East Midlands.
Excuse me, that side.
Way to go, I think. Bravo, way to go.
Well, Munster, of course, have won their first 5 games in this pool, including 3 away from home. The first time they've ever done that in the Heineken Cup. Up goes Mick O'Driscoll again. They've got 3 big options in the line-out. And now it's Maffey. He's got that great step off the left foot. Marvellous acceleration, the New Zealander. And it's O'Connell again, making some ground. Stringer to O'Gara. And that's O'Gara, and O'Gara's got a step 2, needs support. Little bit on his own there. Harry Ellis on the wrong side. Advantage being played to Munster here, and they're going to get the penalty. Jules Hughes, hands obviously on the ball, on the ground. And O'Gara should be able to step up and slot 3 here.
A lot of referees would go yellow card because that was in the shadow of the post. It's a warning from Jude. There won't be another one. Lovely play there. That time Munster did get their runners going well, and O'Gara off the inside pass. No doubt at all this is going to be a kick for goal to level it and just settle, if nothing else, Munster nerves, which are a little bit frayed after the first 20. But that was the first real evidence of Munster's attacking game causing problems for the Tigers there, and it was O'Gara, we talked about his kicking game, it was almost his running game that undid Leicester.
Well, he's definitely become more of an attacking force in the last few years as O'Gara. And there's George Shooter, the current incumbent in the number 2 jersey in the England side. So we played the first quarter, and it's 3 points each here. And Ron O'Gara takes his record to 833, and that's his 176th penalty goal, would you believe?
O'Gara goes wide, and a little inside ball, flat shall we say. It's a great tackle from Rambini there. Clever play though, O'Gara on the out, then the inside ball back. Just picking off Leicester where they got one of the tight forwards.
Humphreys with the restart.
Accidental offside. No, scrum. Right.
You heard Jules Hughes there, accidental offside, and Tomas O'Leary is on the right wing for John Kelly, who suffered that rib injury. We saw him being strapped up, and well, it's clearly the end of John Kelly's game for today, you would imagine, from that shot.
That's a blow for Munster. Kelly very much epitomises the spirit of this team. He's not the flashiest player in this side, but his defensive work is absolutely brilliant, and he's one of these guys that Munster, when things aren't going right, they turn to, and he really lifts them. O'Leary quick though, isn't he?
O'Leary's quick and he's versatile, more used to playing at scrum half for Munster. That is, he had quite a few appearances now on the wing.
Hey, look at this now, free kick. And Martin Corrie says, let's have a scrum again. This game is psychological as well as physical, and Corrie has said to his troops, all right, let's get ourselves a psychological edge. Let's work into John Hayes, let's work into Maris Horan and Frankie Sheehan. Let's attack here.
It's a good scrummage too. Martin Corrie at number 8. Harry Ellis goes for the break, and he's managed to get outside David Wallace, which isn't easy because Wallace is very quick off the base of that scrummage. Good field position now for Leicester here, inside the 22. Harry Ellis looks wide, and he's got Moody, and here's a chance, and it's Murphy! Jordan Murphy scores for Leicester. Superb try. They squeezed Munster there. They put the pressure on from the scrummage. What a great call that was from the captain, because it paid off 100%.
Try of the highest quality there. physically, Leicester said, we'll go you. They've got Wallace just moved away. Look, he's turned inwards there, held a fraction. Ellis through him. Then O'Gara, and Lewis Moody's up and over is absolutely brilliant. It's quick ball. Castrogiovanni takes the next hit. Waiting for their time. Ellis with the fast hands, and this is the moment. Up and over, brilliant play from Moody. And Jordan Murphy, he's fielded 2 high balls. Now he does what he loves more than anything, picking the line and diving over. That's a superb try, wonderfully constructed.
Time on.
Well, he scored a try in the 2002 final against Munster, and he's done it again here at Thomond Park. Ian Humphreys with a strike. That's a difficult kick because the wind really is driving now from right to left. The rain has begun to fall here in Limerick as was forecast. This weather front was supposed to hit just after 5 o'clock. Timing spot on, as was that pass.
Beautiful play there, absolutely wonderful offloading there from Lewis Moody. Great skill there. We see Moody so often, crazy horse, just charging up and down, hither and thither. That was lovely rugby.
Nice Rambini.
Challenge is down, isn't it?
Absolutely. And Leicester, remember, playing into this strong wind. Here's Humphreys, drills it low. Now let's join a former Heineken Cup winner, Nigel Redmond. He's on the front line.
Yeah, Mark, just going back to that scrum, I've got an answer for how Harry Ellis got outside Wallace. If you have a look here, Jennings just gives him a little hole just to hold him in, which just opens the door. Great work from the front 5 there to open that gateway up.
Well, it was Irishman causing damage to the Irishman with Jennings initially, and then Murphy scoring the try.
Jennings might be going to Leinster, but right now I think he's very much Leicester, isn't he? Playing the part there. Power from the front 5 and a bit of nous from the back row.
No, it's fine. Okay, it's fine. Fine. He was
Well, we had the hand of Back in 2002, now we've had the hand of Jennings. Perhaps not quite so critical, we shall see. And the mark is called by Tuolangi. And off he bursts, what a run. Oh, he just mashed Maffei out of the way there. Bounced him out of his stride. And now Rambini coming across from the right wing. Here's Ronan O'Gara. O'Leary getting in front of him. And Munster are a little bit rattled here.
Do you see Rambini hit O'Gara right on the money, knocked him backwards, and Munster are being driven backwards.
O'Gara, the great controller of a game when he's on form.
All the way back. All the way back. Right now, things are definitely not going Munster's way.
No, you need the breaks as well as the skill. But what about this?
Well, Frankie Sheehan will bless himself that he wasn't quick enough to get near him. Thomas O'Leary can't afterwards. There's Sheehan. Well, I got close enough, but I can't get there. And then overdrive. And Lafemi Maffei is a strong man, but he is thundered over. And then O'Gara, so often we see it go just the other side of the post. Hits the post, that's dead. Humphreys knows it.
Touch and pull. Engage.
Well, there you are, as it stands now, Leicester top of the pool. After that try by Jordan Murphy. Inside switch again, there he is, the try scorer. 44 caps for Ireland, 17 tries, that's a good return for his country. Ian Humphreys, Kiss, Ollie Smith, in addition to the team. And Smith, we believe, is carrying a slight knee injury too. They had no choice with Daryl Gibson out with a back problem. Gibson, a real linchpin in the centre for Leicester. And here comes Murphy again.
Yeah, I think perhaps Humphreys might have turned Munster and put that one in the corner. Slightly hesitant on the pass, and Murphy was always under pressure. And I don't think Leicester will want to be going across the front of that red tide of Munster defenders any more than Munster want to be going across Leicester. Now, O'Gara, very ambitious last punt. Will he go long again? Not bad.
Good purchase from O'Gara. There you can see the rain now really beginning to cascade, and the wind has moved into the north as the day has gone on. And it's a little bit like Welford Road in October now. Similar conditions. But at the moment the game going Leicester's way. Up goes O'Callaghan. Good hands from Stringer. Difficult ball to take off his toes in these very wet conditions. It's mucky and sludgy out there now. It's a bumpy pitch as well. We're going to get some strange bounces. Mick O'Driscoll fires the ball into midfield. Directionless. Maffei is caught. Good tackle. And again, just look at the pressure being put on Munster here by Leicester when they get the ball.
And you see there Rambini knocking a prop forward, Horan backwards. Sums up this game at the moment. Physically, Leicester on top.
O'Gara.
That's more like the old O'Gara here, isn't it? Roman Park corner. Knows them so well now. It's O'Connell and co. Have to put pressure on George Shooter. Squeeze their way back into the game.
It's certainly a different game plan to the one they adopted against Bourgoin, a dry day in Geneva when they were all foam and glitter, as Seamus Heaney once said. This is more a day for muck and brass, and the tee shot is here to watch it all. Conditions deteriorating by the second. But of course, both of these sides historically are great bad weather sides. Taken by Deacon.
What a fine take by Lewis Deacon. It really was.
Crucial defensive line out there by Leicester. The strength of the wind now is, well, it's becoming like Ulster and Llanelli last week at Ravenhill when we had, well, it was Heineken Stormont they called it. This is more like Toman Twister, but it's nasty out there.
Nasty for Munster as well if they can't use this wind to take some points in the next 10-12 minutes or so. They really need them.
Well, the catch and drive is what oxygenates Munster. It's their lifeblood.
It's a lot easier to get into the right position playing downwind against Leicester's aggressive tackling defence into the wind. It's going to be hard work to get here.
O'Connell, not a clean take, but Horan gets his hands on it. Got a knock forward, and just look at Leo Cullen there, clapping his hands together, driving his side on. They know the importance of that, disrupting the Munster line out on their own line, where Munster can punish.
No.
Well, once again, in the immediate physical contact, it's Leicester every time getting the inch there. They're looking really top condition at the moment. What you have to do to beat Munster here is take them on mentally, and in the first 31 minutes Leicester have set out their stall by saying to them, we're not scared of you. At last someone can raise some doubts in Munster's mind.
Yes, I heard you this morning at the beginning of today's programme talking about the importance of mental strength today here, and now they've made a mess of it. In goes O'Gara, and now here's a chance, and it's Dowling. Good defence again by Leicester. At last, Munster beginning to make some headway here, and the scrummage goes Munster's way.
Leicester have only themselves to blame for the predicament they're in here. The initial scrum very good.
Scrum, white ball.
Just lost control of it in the conditions. Good push on there. Push from Stringer on Ellis, and then almost too much control. The ball pops out, and then Ollie Smith comes in. So the Munster boot just catches it.
No, only three.
Well, it is, but it's actually the scrum is out of control before then, isn't it? Because Ollie Smith has been forced to go in. It's Stringer's boot. We've seen him do that so often, but Leicester actually drove really well in the scrum, but they weren't solid in their foundations.
Well, Josh Lucy said on the rugby club during the week that the Heineken Cup had greater intensity than international rugby, that it was more tribal, and well, in a match like this you can see exactly what he means. This is massive.
It is a very big Leicester presence in Limerick today and last night as well, and they'll be delighted with what they've seen here. Of course, Leicester's record in recent years in games away from Welford Road in the big ones that really mattered. Has been nothing less than dreadful. They've lost 5. They have been at times rudderless. They've lacked leadership. Today, Martin Corrie's giving that leadership. His decision to take the scrum was physically, psychologically and tactically brilliant. And the lads like Humphreys and Ellis, they're all playing.
You've got to respect Leicester's intelligence and integrity so far in this first half, leading by 8 points to 3. And the Munster fans trying to lift their side with the anthem, The Fields of Athenry.
It's a good start for Leicester, playing into the wind 8-3 up, but a long way to go. Because even if physically and technically and tactically they have Munster on the rope, there's an iron will here in Munster. There's that extra something that champions possess. Now, big scrum. Can Castrogiovanni and White ruin Stringer's ball?
Levy and Wallace have pace off the base if needed. Oh, and it's gone through the 90, has it? And word spoken by Paul O'Connell, and the referees are very strict on that these days. Even if the words do come from the captain, the penalty can be awarded. And that is a massive waste of an opportunity there by Munster.
Leicester will say we did very well there. Clever scrummaging to turn it, and Jordan Murphy, well, you can see just how tight the wind is, doesn't even make his 22. O'Connell was livid as well, which also perhaps tells you the degree of frustration in this Munster camp at the moment, that someone's standing up to them and not letting them tread all over them here.
Martin Corrie just having a word there with George Shooter just to make sure the call is correct. So much noise in this wonderful old stadium. And a great take by O'Callaghan. That's sensational by the Lion.
He read that brilliantly. Munster picked that call, didn't they?
That's called perception. Here goes O'Connell. That's called power. But actually the Leicester defence again managing to drive him back. He's a huge man, as Paul O'Connell. Frankie Sheehan. Can Munster assert any sort of domination up front here?
I think they're going to have to, because I don't think they've got the cutting edge to win this in 1 or 2 moments. I think they're going to need a lot of territory and time with the ball.
David Wallace is standing out wide here on the shoulder of Ronan O'Gara, and Wallace is going to chase this one along with Maffey, and that's Jordan Murphy. Did he knock it forward in the attempt to take the ball? Yes, he did. Another good position here from Munster, and this time they do need a good scrummage. It was destroyed last time out by Leicester.
Jordan Murphy's first mistake tonight. Wonderful high ball from Ronan O'Gara. Into the filthy night sky of Munster, and Murphy just loses that one. Now, it could have been a penalty. Hughes thinks that Jennings didn't have any option there. There's O'Gara with a kick, watching that. Not quite a masterpiece, but a fine kick.
Yes, the old traditional Gary Owen stringer feeds. It's a better scrummage this time. Munster getting the push on. Stringer waits, and then goes Jennings, and Jennings with a tremendous steal there on the floor. Well, Leicester will have watched the videos, and they will know that if you want to beat Munster, you have to take them on the floor, and you've got to beat them on the floor, because they have been masters, Stuart, in that area in this competition.
They have. For years, Munster have been the dominant force on the floor. But the problem today, you can see, in the first round, Leicester conceded the turnovers. It was a battle that Munster won, and with it, possibly the game, because of the tight battle, it was Leicester. But today, Leicester are doing very well, and for all the territory, Munster are not scoring with a big wind.
Again, not a conclusive line out by Munster. Sheehan did well, but they've lost the ball again. They've turned it over. It's Rambini trying to get on the end of it. The advantage being played, and back they'll come for the scrummage to Munster. We're beginning to build a few phases, a little bit of territory now for the men in red, but they still trail by 8 points to 3 as half-time. Fast approaches thanks to that try from Jordan Murphy. Mick O'Driscoll is the player who's down injured, elbow problems.
Tuolangi chipping the ball there. I don't know whether that was the greatest idea or after a fair amount of pressure. But yes, Munster are getting some phases of possession and they've had some territory, but there's not much possession they're getting that is of a calibre to use in these conditions. Leicester are putting them under so much pressure when they're getting ball, it's not good ball. We haven't seen too many of those wonderful one-handed takes and plants from O'Connell to put Stringer wide. We haven't seen O'Gara getting onto the gain line. Tactically, it's definitely been a half that's belonged to Leicester, and physically.
Well, Munster have had a line out on the Leicester line. They've had 2 scrummages and they haven't looked like scoring from any of those 3 set pieces. And now the penalty is given in the front row against Marcus Horan.
And on a mucky night, it's the mundane world of the front row that's just about dictating the course of this game, isn't it? It's Leicester's ability to put pressure on at scrums when they need to defensively and in attack that has bailed them out and led to tries, and there's another penalty for them. You feel that as Sheehan is injured there, Jerry Flannery, still working his way back to full fitness, might just be needed. Castro, Giovanni and White doing a job.
Well, let's hear from Nigel Redmond on the front row.
I'll tell you what we'll do is, can you put
Giovanni, the loose head prop, and this Leicester front row have played very well so far. Marcus Horan put under great pressure there in that previous scrummage. The pick up and drive, and Paul O'Connell trying to get in the way there.
And once again, Leicester just working hard, but here's a turnover.
Chance now perhaps to break, and there's numbers out wide here if they can move it. And it's Barry Murphy's got a good step, and he's got support from Maffey, and that's out to Sean Payne. Defence is good. Across comes Ollie Smith. Good tackle. Well played by Leicester again.
See the power of Rambini as well. Turnover so important tonight, and Stringer thinks, oh, an escape, a chance to play the space. Barry Murphy, the typical double step of his, good supporting from Maffey, but just watch, Ollie Smith gathers his man, and then Rambini through with a hit. And again, Munster trying to go wide now, but you don't get the sense that Murphy and co, without Halstead holding Leicester in the middle, can create the space wide.
George Shooter finds Lewis Deacon.
It's been a good combination this half, Shooter Deacon.
Another good line out take by Leicester. Deep into injury time. The rain has eased, but the wind continues to blow. And Leicester will have it at their backs in the second half.
Robbo, they're finishing this first half with such a drive to say, hey, we are physically on top of you, Munster. This is a statement. They've got the penalty. They will now drive the ball into Munster's half, and the crowd are booing the referee and not cheering their own team. Corrie's men are doing a very good job here.
Well, this place is known for its tremendous atmosphere, but just talking to Paul Burke at the hotel this morning, and he was saying that if the opposition can get into the ascendancy, this place can become very quiet indeed. Not a great kick, and Stringer keeps the ball in play, and it's picked up by Dennis Leamy. By Sean Payne, looking for space on the far side. Tuolangi over his head.
But again, if you just think about those 2 kicks into the wind, Leicester struggling, and then Payne, I don't think he even caught that well, but he makes 40 metres. The elements are really going to be against Munster in the second half. That's great skills there from Peter Stringer. A touch of the Liam Brady about that, for those of you old enough to remember. But he's having a hard night tonight, Stringer. A key man, a catalyst for Munster. He's just not getting the quality of ball.
Shooter, this time it's Leo Cullen to Ellison. That's a poor pass. Putting his back line under pressure. Ollie Smith takes the ball up for the Tigers.
See how the bats cross the gain line even under pressure though, and they just build again.
Ellis to Humphreys. And again, that's a decent clearance kick considering the strength of the wind here.
Grimacing there, but I think Ian Humphreys will be pretty pleased with his first half. His first 5 minutes were excellent. He was involved in quite a lot. You know, I think one charge down. Apart from that, he has looked extremely composed today. that was Leicester's big worry. Would Humphreys be the point of weakness? And the answer after 40 minutes is no. 40 to come. Great first half for him, though.
Yeah, it's just the one error for him, the charge down by Ian Dowling, but he can be excused. That well taken again by O'Callaghan. What a good footballer he is, basketball hands.
Well, we normally talk about O'Connell, but Deacon and O'Callaghan have been very instrumental in a lot of the good forward play this half. The pair of them, underrated players.
And Munster getting a penalty, Leicester collapsing them all.
The next time I return the penalty kick. No, because no time. Okay, I don't want to see.
I think Peter Stringer there made the sign of a yellow card, and Joel Hughes, I'm pleased to say, said, I don't want to see that. Don't do it, I'll reverse it. 30 seconds to go. Surely Ronan O'Gara has got to take on the responsibility of going for 3 points. It's tight, and Munster need everything. And I tell you what they need, a Phillip going into half-time. Munster came out roaring. It was the last game on Old Thomond Park. There's so much pressure on them, but Leicester from the first minute have won the gain line battle. They've been tactically smart, they've been confident. As the two teams go in at half time, it will be the Tigers who will say to themselves, hey, this is ours for the winning. The European champions have demons in their mind.
A lot closer this time for O'Gara. The hush descended for the kick, and has he used the wind effectively? Yes, he has. And O'Gara takes Munster to within 2 points of Leicester. It's been a pretty gargantuan struggle in this first half, no doubt about that. Just the one try coming from Jordan Murphy, and what a great try it was too from the scrummage. The offload from Mooney, and it's Leicester 8. Munster 6 is the Thomond record in jeopardy.